Hello! So, this is my second video for this week, which is different, but I kind of felt bad for not doing anything for 3 weeks. And then also, I saw the picture of this house because that's what I do in my free time. I look at old houses that I could make in The Sims, and I just thought this one was so stupid cute that I had to make it. So it's just a little 1921 floor plan from a book called The Home of Beauty. It's designs for small brick homes, and it's in a way kind of an ad in a way, but what's that word? Like the description of the book, I guess, it just says it's a collection. Oh my God. A collection of architectural designs for small houses submitted in competition by architects and architectural draftsmen and selected from 400 for their merit. So I guess this was a competition. But yeah, everything about it is 1921. And I found this book from Pinterest, but it links to just an archive.org thing. So I haven't done too much digging there, but I'm assuming there's a lot of things like this. But I say this reads kind of like an ad because the whole time it's talking about what type of brick to use, which I guess is face brick. So that was an association that's advertised on here, the American Face Brick Association. I don't know the details about that, and I feel a little bad for not knowing the details, but whatever, we didn't read too into it. I was too excited to make this house. So this house is a little different than what I normally do, and that's because it's a 2-story for one, but also just this sort of vaguely colonial style is not really my thing. As I've said in the past, I don't like colonial style. I don't know if this is really colonial. The description didn't really label it as anything, but to me it looks colonial. Like it would fit in on a block full of colonial houses, and it's got like sort of the symmetry thing going on, even though it's a bit asymmetrical on the front with the porch, but essentially it looks like a colonial house to me. But I just love how little it is. It's like a little block, like it's just a little square house, and I love the roof, how it's not just a typical pitched roof, it's got that flat top, and thankfully those little walls that came from what I always get the name wrong, Strange whatever it's called, that one, those little half walls that are supposed to be the like fake facade for buildings, those worked perfectly sized down to create that little effect of having the end walls, I guess, of that flat part. Anyways, the inside did pose some challenges though, as the staircase was one of those U-shaped staircases, which I couldn't really make because I wanted to put this on a foundation and I didn't really want to have to do a whole split level thing, and I don't know, it's just a pain in the ass, so I didn't want to do it. So I had to find some workarounds for what to do with the staircase and how to fit it in with the top. The whole top portion, the hallway, doesn't exactly match with the original, and same with the closet situation. The closets were kind of a headache throughout this whole thing because I'm pretty sure in like real houses of this time period they had closets with, doors and like kind of like the closets we have now, because it, but I didn't like the ones that we have, and I didn't want to just throw a door in and like have an empty space. So I made fake closets, which I just did with using the archways and some sort of dresser wardrobe thing. So all the closets that you saw for a split second that I was making on the second floor, all of those eventually change. And I think it looks better. There was sort of a trend in the 20s, from what I've looked at, of having curtains as your closet door or even your bathroom door. And so that really worked here because I basically just used curtains to be sort of, we'll pretend like you can close them and hide away your closet, but in reality you just see the clothes all the time. Everything else about this house is pretty average 1920s stuff. It's nothing super fancy, nothing that different from what I've done before. Because, I don't use any custom content or anything, so a lot of these interiors tend to look similar. The main difference you might see is that there's a lot more pattern and there's a lot more sort of muted colors, and I don't use this couch that often, but for the most part, things are pretty similar. In the 20s, there was a lot of, I don't know if it was an obsession or what, but there's so much pattern on everything, and it's any sort of variation of that sort of fleur-de-lis, I took French in high school, fleur-de-lis, I think is how you pronounce it. Anyways, it's that sort of symbol that you find in wallpaper, very similar to the one that's on this wallpaper here, and on the couch, and on the rug, and on the ottoman, which I sized down to be pretty much non-usable. Your Sims will sit on it, but they'll be floating, so, good ab workout, I guess, for them. But yeah, there's a lot of pattern throughout this entire house, so sorry. I'm always interested to see, like, if you download this or, whatever, and you actually play with it, I'm always interested to see if people change stuff on the inside and, like, why they changed it. But, not even, like, simple stuff of, like, oh, I just don't like that thing. Like, I want to see, do people go through and renovate the whole thing and do, their own style, but they like the outside? Because I know there's a lot of people who build houses and put them on the gallery and they leave the interiors completely empty because they just want, people to do their own thing. And they essentially just make the shell. And I get it. That would make for a pretty boring YouTube video though. But I really like to do the interiors, even though it's always a challenge. So, I'm curious to see if people go through and they're like, you know what, I can make this an open floor plan, put the kitchen in the middle of the house. Like, I think that'd be so cool to see people, like, update these kind of how they would be updated, today, like if you were to see this house on, like, some HGTV show, like, how would they remake it? I just think that'd be cool to see. This kitchen is one of my favorite spots in this house. I really like how it came out. I really think it gives off that aesthetic of the 20s kitchen, and that it was sort of in a weird transition spot of becoming more part of the total house and not just like a workroom, but it is still definitely a place that's kind of like shoved away in the back of the house and, isn't the prettiest because it's not really meant to be seen by guests and stuff like that. But it's sort of coming out a little bit more. Like, it's a bit more accessible. It's not through a hallway and back behind a door. Like, it's right off the dining room. And there's a bit more cabinet space and stuff like that. The upstairs, to be honest, not that interesting, not that different. And I'm saying that about my own video, but, like, not that different from what I normally do. The best thing about this ends up being the carpet that I put in this hallway. So hang tight for that. But, I don't know. This house was really fun to make, but the actual, like, interior of everything wasn't that different than normal. But isn't this carpet, like, so cool? Patterned carpet, like, I'm telling you, pattern everything. But patterned carpet was also really big at this time. And that stretched for a very long time, just kind of differentiating in the types of patterns that you would see. But patterned carpet used to be really cool. It's not anymore, and it hasn't been for a while, but, like, it used to be really popular to see. And I did end up using so much from, like, the Vampires pack, whatever that one's called. But I ended up using a lot from that pack because it just really fit. This bathroom, I ended up cutting out most of me trying to decide what to do because I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do, so I just went with kind of one of my favorite color combinations. Also, I keep forgetting the archway in front of the tub does not work. That's the same goes for the rest of the closets. And everything that I did an archway in front of, you can't use the stuff that's inside. So I uploaded it to the gallery like this, but if you actually want to play in the house, you will need to delete that hallway or archway thingy. And if you want to use any of the dressers, you also have to. I couldn't find a good workaround for that, but I really just wanted that look. So, it's fine. But you see all the closets that are up here, they just don't work. Like, they don't look right. And so I end up going through and changing all of them. But, yeah, I don't know. I wish we got more closet options. They haven't given us any sort of closets in a while. And I know I said I was going to do like a 70s video or a 70s house, whatever. But I saw this one first, and so I wanted to do this one first. So for the closets, this is basically what I did for most of them, was just throw a dresser in there, throw some curtains, and some sort of like this rack that makes it look like a closet. But you can't use anything that's inside. Like, it's all just decorative, basically. So if you actually want to use it, you have to completely take out that wall, basically. And yeah, I don't know. There's not much else to talk about with this house. I finished like the rest of the bedrooms, but they're all pretty like standard, and not that, I don't want to say not that interesting, but not that different from what I normally do, because I feel like the styles from like the early 1900s through the 1960s, oh my god. I feel like the styles through that time really didn't like drastically change like they kind of have since, but I don't know, like you could take this bedroom that I'm making here and plop it into like a 1950s style house and it might fit just fine. And here I am changing all the closets, so that was fun. I also gave more room to that other little bedroom because it was too tiny. But yeah, I feel like it's just not that different. There's not too many features that are like, wow, that's such a 1920s house. But I do think one thing that is a bit different is that there's less space in these bedrooms. There's not as much like, there's no toys to put around. There's no, big, I don't know, there's no big desk to put in. Like, you could put them in, and I'm sure in reality, like, you would have been able to fit those into this, but in The Sims you can't. So instead it's just kind of thrown in here. Like, this one could be a teenager's room. The other one could be literally any age except for like a toddler. But yeah, I didn't make these like super specific to one age or one gender. As I've said before, I just don't really enjoy making gendered rooms unless I've got some sort of storyline going along with it. But for this house, I don't. I did end up making some Sims to put in here. I always do that just so I can test everything, which is how I confirmed again that I can't put the freaking archways over the tubs. I don't know why I keep thinking I can, but whatever. And like the family that I made, I'm using that story thing that they added with whatever update that was, I don't remember, but the story thing that they added to create a Sim. And so they're like a brooding doctor and businesswoman or something. I don't know, but they're very like, they seem like the OG Mortimer and Bella Goth to me. So, you can put those types of Sims in here too. I feel like that suits them. And then I did cut out like majority of me doing the landscaping because it just takes so long and it's so uninteresting in my opinion. So I left like a tiny bit in, but we're going to jump into screenshots like right now. So first floor, could have added a door there. I didn't realize until making this, editing it together, that I could have fit a door there. So if you want to go in there and add a door, you absolutely can. That would be pretty accurate to the floor plan that I apparently didn't pay attention to. So Yeah, kind of breezed through this one. It did take me just as long as any other one, but I felt like it went faster just because I had more fun with it. Oh my god, I left out a railing. Wow, there's always something. There's always something that I leave out. See, I took out the archway in the screenshot so you can see what it would actually look like. And that is the only bathroom for the house, so you're going to need to do that if you play in it because there's nowhere else for them to take a bath. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. I hope you like having 2 videos in 1 week. And please check out my other stuff. Please subscribe if you want to. Leave me a like if you want to. Okay, thanks. Bye.